computer, please. All right, so let's talk about attribute pieces just a little bit. Screenshot. And there's many different versions of these that can be found in school classrooms and on computers. But this is one version of attribute pieces. And an attribute is just a quality or a feature of an object. Oh, my screen shut off. Come on, screen, back on. There you go. So this is one version of things called attribute pieces. And these are split into 3 types of attributes. We have color to choose from, and there's 4 colors. I have blue, I have yellow, I have red, and I have green. And then I also have shape. And I have 4 shapes to choose from. I have circle, I have square, I have triangle, and I have hexagon. And then I have size as another attribute. And I could choose size to be either small or large. And if I wanted to just, use those 4, 4, and 2 options to kind of generate all of these, again, I have each row as a color, and then I have pairs of columns for shape, and then each pair of column is either small or large going down the track there. So there are 4 colors times 4 shapes times 2 sizes for a total of 4 times 4 is 16 times 2 is there are 32 objects over here I have to play with. I do that right? 4 times 4 is 16 times 2 is 32. Yeah, that looks right. Or 8 times 4 is 32. Yep. When I make a note on paper about this stuff, some days I only have a pencil in one color. So how do I distinguish between the small or the large blue circle and the small yellow or large yellow circle? I mean, I could do something like maybe put a B in there for blue or a Y in there for yellow. And then some of us aren't the best drawers. Like some people have a hell of a time drawing a hexagon. Depends on the day and the person. So a note I made in the actual thing is instead of drawing this shape in a particular color, because not all of us have a bunch of colored pens hanging around, I could signify that right there is the small blue circle. So I could call this guy SBC. Then this guy right here would be the large yellow circle. And this one right here, I could refer to as the large green hexagon. So you can either try to draw these to illustrate what you're doing. You could give them a name, like a 3-letter initial kind of thing, or you could do screenshots of work you do on the computer. So there's a few different ways you can document your work. So kind of an overview there. And then the first question I had was making a sequence of these by changing only one attribute at a time. So if you start, say, down here with the small blue circle, the next thing can only have one change. You can either change the color, the shape, or the size you get to pick, right? So out of laziness, I might pick the large blue circle because it's right next to it. Question is, could I then pick the small blue square to be the next thing? Well, if I tried to, small blue square, problem is I just changed 2 things, right? This changed and that changed right there. The only thing I left the same was blue. So that could not possibly be the next figure here. But I do have a lot of other options that will work. What else could I put next? If I have first, oh, did I write blue? I meant green. Poor Gary. Can't write what he says. Small green circle, that's better, and then large green circle. So somebody give me an option of what could be next. Oh, I got a bunch. Okay, let's see. Big blue square. Okay, so I'm gonna use large. So I could have the large blue, let's see. Oh, yeah, we were stuck on the blue there. Sorry, Monty. I was saying one thing and pointing at another. I'm gonna call it the large green square. So then I left large and green the same, I only changed square. So this could be my first one, that could be my second, that could be my third. Now that's not the only option I have. I could pick something else. Like I could have picked the large red circle from here to there, because then I'm only changing the color. Could I leave green and circle and just change the size? The answer is no, I already got that one there. So it turns out as I move along, I am limiting my options. So what you want to try and do is make as long a list as possible, whereas you jump from one figure to the next. Right, that one didn't work. I made a mistake there, but this one would work or that one would work. Let's say I'm going to go with this one right here. I want to keep making a list and see how far I can get. Can I use all the figures? Is that possible? So I'm going to leave that open. The other version of this problem was to change 2 at a time. So make a pattern with the attributes, wrong line, make a pattern with the attribute pieces, changing 2 attributes at a time. So if I tried to do that, let's pop this in a new tab. Let's suppose I start here for fun. So then I need to change 2 things. So I could change color and size, so that could be next. And then I could change, maybe I could do it again, change color and let's see, is that too many things? That's color, shape, and size. That wouldn't work. Oops. Oh yeah, once you grab them, they kind of want to float away. What could be next? I have to change 2 things. I could leave the size, change the color and shape. That would be 2 things. And you could either do it with the actual figures or you could run on a piece of paper the abbreviations. So I started with, let's see, I started with the yellow, no, blue. So change 2 attributes at a time. So I started off with the large blue hexagon, and then I switched over to the small yellow hexagon. So I left hexagon, I changed the other 2 things, and then picked something else to go next. So you could list it out that way too. So there's 2 challenges here. One is making a list where exactly 2 things change each time. And that list could either be abbreviations, drawn on paper, or with this right here. And then the next question is, how far can you go? Is it possible to use all of them, or are you going to hit a roadblock after 8 or 10 or 12 or 16? Okay, so I'm not going to answer those questions. I'm going to leave that for you guys to play and figure it out. All right, so then there was a question about pick 2 attributes or pick 3 attributes. So let's do the 3 attribute one. So either on paper or on the screen here, you're going to make 3 sets. And then it says click here, and you can choose what the set is going to be. Is it a set? And we're going to ignore thick and thin, but they could be large or small. They could be circles or squares or triangles. Let's see, it could be rectangle, hexagon, could fill in the blank with whatever you want to call it, or it could be any color. So you have to pick, what do you want this set to be called? What do you want that set to be called? And what do you want this set to be called? And then put the pieces in the right spots in here. So for example, let's see. This is a large hexagon, so I think it goes here. This is a yellow hexagon, so I think it goes there. This is a green hexagon, but it's also large, so I guess it has to go here. This is large, but it's not a hexagon and not yellow. Is that the right spot? Is there anything that's going to go out here? Let's see, is this large? No. Is it a hexagon? Nope. Is it a yellow? Nope. I guess it goes out there. And then you could either take a screenshot if you did it here, or you could do it on a piece of paper, in which case it would look like this. So I have my universe, where ultimately all my shapes are going to be, and I have one set there, and another set there, and another set there. And I said this one was large, and this one was hexagon, and this one was yellow. And so, for example, up here, I could put the large blue square, and over here, I could have the large blue hexagon. This right here would have to be a large yellow hexagon, because it has to be large, hexagon, and yellow. And the way I recommended writing them was size, color, shape in the description. Here, let's see, it's got to be a hexagon, it's got to be yellow, it can't be large, so this would be the small yellow hexagon. And I put out here the small blue circle. So you could either draw it with illustrations if you're not the best drawer, or you could use the app and take a screenshot when you're done. All of the pieces have to be accounted for and in the right corral. And when you use 3 sets to break up a universe, you break your universe into the outside, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, actually, where's my laser pointer? Outside, so there's 1 region, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 disjoint regions. Like imagine these as all fences. There are 8 regions that these fences separate. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. If you haven't found someone in this class to talk to outside of class, I highly recommend doing so. Otherwise, the only time you guys have to communicate is when I stick you guys in groups in class. How do I get rid of that? There we go. Other questions on this? Let's see, where'd you guys go? Over here. No one's chatted. I'm going to stop.